All right, guys. Literally just recorded this and forgot to hit record, or just went through this like I was recording it. I guess yeah. But basically, in today's video, I wanted to go over how to make things explode. And then this guy has different amount of health, and it explodes, and all of that fires off these impulses and blows up everything around them and all that good stuff. So we're gonna go to games here, open up a first person. Make sure that starter content is selected so that you can have the explosion. If you already have a particle for explosions, then don't worry about starter content. But I'm just going to call this Exploder 5000 because I forgot to hit record on the last one. And I'm going to hit create. We should be good to go. All right. So I'm going to click on this gray guy right here, hit select, go down to select all with the same material, hit delete. Then we're going to click on the rifle here and right click browse to asset. It'll open this up. There's a couple of things in here I want to open. I want to open up the component, and I'm just going to change the volume, which is down here. If you find IA shoot, come down here, you'll see play firing sound. Just expand that, and we'll change the the volume multiplier to 0.25. I'll save that, close it, and then let's go ahead and go back to that folder. Go to our projectile, open it up, and you'll notice in here that basically whenever we hit something, we check to see if it's simulating physics. If it is, we add an impulse at the location, and then we destroy the projectile. That's all well and good, but what we want to also do, let's drag all that to the side. Probably doesn't need to go that far. But move this down, give me some space to make our own code. So literally, we're just going to pull off of this, and we're going to say apply damage. And this is a nice little thing that's built straight into the engine. Nice little function where we can take in an actor, say how much we want to damage it, and tell it who did the damage. We can say ourself, file save, and there's other stuff that we can do in there, like talking about which player controller instigated the event, all the good stuff. But for our purposes, we don't need all that. All right, so we can apply the damage. I'm going to close this. And now we're going to go to content, right click. I'm not going to show you guys how to do materials or anything like that in this one because I'm just so tired. I don't feel good. So we're going to just get to the meat and potatoes of the whole thing, right? Basically, we're just going to end the content folder. I'm going to make a new blueprint class, type actor, BP exploding barrel. Now, earlier I was showing, hey, this is how you can make an entire class out of it and all that. It's the same concept. Just know that, like, if you're going to have multiple different types of exploding things, it would behoove you to make a parent class, which in this case, our exploding barrel could be the parent class of all other explosion things. And they would just take in the same logic, and you could just change out different variables in order to make that a more apt parent class. And I'll kind of show that in this. So what we're going to do is open this up. We're going to add a static mesh, drag that static mesh as the default scene root. And for our purposes, we're going to look for the SM cylinder, which is the second one here. Comes from our prototype, level prototyping folder, if you guys are looking for it. And we then need a particle. So we'll get the cascade particle system because that's the one that has a nice little explosion. And drag that up to about 40. Select self again and add a radial force. Drag that up to about 40. And so this radial force, that basically is the area of pushback. So if something is inside of this area, it's going to get pushed back by a certain amount, specified by our impulse strength and all that good stuff. And so I'm going to set our radius to about 500, our impulse to about 3,500, and we're going to tell it to change the velocity. Now, not all of your explosions are going to want to be the same. So what you can do is compile save, go to our, one more thing before we leave out of this, go to particle system, search for auto and turn off auto activate. And then there we go. Now I can go to my construction script, grab my, my static mesh. Let's do that first. Say set simulate physics. And then we can right click, promote to variable, and expose that. And just keep calling it simulate, or you can add in physics if you want at the end of it. Simulate physics. This will tell us whether or not we're going to actually simulate physics. I'm going to say true as default for all of these. Then I can grab my radial force, and we can say set impulse strength. Right click, make that its own variable. And our impulse strength, remember, like I was saying, I thought 3500 would be good. We can expose that as well. And that's just something nice that we can change the strength of everything and all that. And then we can add another variable in here, just call it damage, and make that a float. And maybe we just go ahead and set that to like something like 50 for a default, and also expose that. And that kind of sets us up to be able to make this into multiple classes. So then we can change, or not multiple classes, but multiple childs of this class in order to have like a exploding tank, an exploding barrel, exploding toilet. I don't know, whatever you want to make explode. All these different things could inherit from this. And then, all right, let's go to event graph. I'm going to leave the begin play, but delete the other stuff. And I'm going to make a new custom event. I'm just going to call this explode. Inside explode, we want to grab our radial force or pull off of it and say fire impulse. Okay. You can tell I've done this a couple of times tonight. Then we're going to grab our particle system. We're going to then activate it. Remember how we told it to not auto activate? This will be our way of specifying exactly when it activates. Okay, and then we are going to set the lifespan of our actor. All right, so now I'm not going to do it off the begin play. I was going to show you this, like, hey, we can just test it by saying begin play, delay, and then we'll explode. But let's not worry about that. Let's just jump right past that. I know this works because I've done it like 3 times. What we're going to do is we're going to do event any damage, because remember our projectile, we told it to cause some damage, right? So what we can do is we can take that damage and then we can make a new variable called health, make sure it's a float, and we can set that our default health to being something like 10. And remember, our damage was also 10 from the projectile. So then we can take our health, subtract, and if the damage is, or the difference of these two is less than or equal to 0, then we explode, right? So what we'll do is we'll set our health really fast to the difference of the two, and then we'll check that. Is this guy less than or equal to 0? And I get a branch by holding left click or holding B and then left clicking. And we can go through our branch, through the true, and say, hey, let's delay for a split second, and then let's explode. Now, I'm going to leave this delay out for a second. We're going to come back to this, and I'll show you guys why. I'm going to show you guys this working just real fast so you can kind of check your work, make sure that everything's good. I'm going to grab one of these smaller ones, pull this in here, and shoot this guy and see if it makes the small guy explode back. Cool. I did notice barrel's not disappearing. Oh, we need to set the lifespan. I forgot there's a 0.1. There we go. All right, now it disappears after like a split second. All right, now that's cool, but we want to be able to explode multiple barrels off of shooting one. So shoot that. It didn't even really affect the other barrel. What we're wanting it to do is we want it to do all of this, which is all well and good, but also apply radial damage. I'm going to say about 50, because the further from the center you get, the less damage it is. So I think 50 will be perfectly fine for this. And then we're going to grab our radial force. I'm going to say get world location. Play that in. Our damage radius about 500. And honestly, that's all we really need to do there. Now, this is why we took the delay out. I want to show you guys an issue you'll run into. I shoot, and we get an infinite loop. So basically what's happening and why this is an infinite loop is, and then it doesn't even really matter if there's, you know, if there's only one, still do it, right? What it is we hit it, it explodes, it then applies damage to itself, it tries to explode again and again and again and again and again, because it keeps applying damage to itself. And the engine's like, hey dude, you're trying to Thanos snap the universe right now, stop it. So yeah, we need to comply with that. Now, if we could just add in the delay, and that might fix it. Let's see. Yeah, it basically fixes it. But let's say you're have like a frame drop right there. You're gonna get that infinite loop happen again, and so you don't want that. You don't really want to base your fixes off of a delay, right? If your fix it to like a crash or an infinite loop or something like that as a delay, you're just asking for issues, because time isn't always exactly the same between multiple PCs and stuff like that. So we don't want to rely on that. So a better way of doing that is we only want this to happen once, right? We're only going to have it explode once. So what we can do is just come over here to explode, hold O and left click to get a do once node, plug that guy in there. And now if I come in here and I shoot the barrel, it explodes perfectly fine, no issues. And we can even remove the delay. Let me show that. We're going to remove that delay, and there you go. The only reason I'm putting the delay in is for more of a visual sake, so it just lives a little bit longer before the explosion happens. Not necessarily like it before it deletes, but before the explosion even happens, we kind of see the barrel start to move and then explode. That's why the delay. And yeah, so this should now affect multiple things. I can shoot, whoop, and miss, and you'll notice it happened to all of them. We definitely need to work on the particle a little bit more. Maybe set it to like 3 on its scale, and maybe, you know, that way it's a little bit more, yeah, a little bit more flashy. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then you can also even increase the force on this, maybe like 1,000 on the force strength. It's just a little bit more violent than maybe even the impulse strength, maybe like 5,000. I don't know. Play with your impulse strength, play with the force strength, figure out what you like. My only issue is we're not really making these guys fly off, and I'm not sure if that's because they're just perfectly in a line or what. Huh. Let me grab our radial force here. I'm gonna lower it slightly. .5. Not really affecting the other ones like I'd want it to. And they are simulating fit. Let's make sure. We say simulate physics here, but is that actually making it simulate physics? Let's go to our static mesh here. And there it is. Yeah, simulate physics. Static mesh, simulate physics. Yeah. Maybe we just lower the mass slightly on these. Instead of 155, we can, where is it at? I'm missing it. Oh, right here. We'll say mass and 75. It might be that we're I'm gonna do something. Event begin play. Trying to get you guys a better looking version of this. You get the idea, but I kind of wanted to knock those barrels back a little bit better. Up to 2 seconds. Oh, problem is random. Actually, I'm gonna make a kind of like a debug boolean here, just real fast. Plug this in. You know, I didn't even name it because we don't want to keep it, but I'm gonna expose it so that then I can just pick one of these, this guy, and I can just say, oops, did I not compile? Maybe compile save. Now we got that new bar. Now only this one will explode after 2 seconds. It's just not launching the other guys. Impulse. Pawn, physics, vehicle, destructible. What we got here? Block all dynamic, world dynamic, radial force. Forgot what I was looking at. Yeah, object type is world dynamic. Okay. So we're not affecting world dynamic, so we do want to then switch this to also world dynamic. So basically what I did, guys, is I went to radial force here and I added world dynamic as an object type to effect. And now, yeah, see, it shot them off. Okay, basically just forgot to add that. My bad. So then we can actually turn down the impulse strength a little bit, and the force I'm actually going to drop back down to 10. We'll look at that again. Yeah, I like that better. All right. Sorry, I'm just not feeling good tonight, guys. Then we're going to remove our little branch thing here. We don't need any of the begin play stuff, and I'm going to delete this variable. Sometimes you can do that so that, like, if you have like multiple of the same thing, you can just throw in a variable and say, hey, this is the one I want to test really quick, and then you can test it directly. And now we can come over here, shoot one. Now y'all gonna be annoying. I think our delay here is too much. Let's go 0.1. Yeah. All right. So the delay, just to make sure you guys saw it, event damage. You know, we might just remove this delay. Don't need it. And I would just add on 0.5 or say 0.25 for our lifespan. Make that a little bit cleaner. Just play with that and see how long you actually want the barrel to survive after the explosion. But yeah, there you go. It's beautiful. All right, if you guys haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. I do have a Patreon. Want to check that out? Link in the description. I also have a Discord, so if you guys have any problems or any issues with the blueprints that you're working on or any one of the videos that we've been going through, then we can sit down and work it out. Just jump in the Discord and put it in the general chat or the blueprint help or whatever, and either myself or one of the other members can help you out. All right, I'll see you guys later.